was written in the Constitution. They say that we were only 3/5 of a man. Wasn't nothing but a bunch of pollution to try to say that it was just the law of the land. Over 400 years of oppression, and yet they cover it up in the lessons. Politicians causing recession. The threat of reparations make them fear confession. Slavery had a big impact on the nation, making it the richest country in the world. Dixieland, Hollywood, Wall Street, millionaires swimming in diamonds and pearls. Every ghetto from city to city is packed with blacks, and there is no pity. Lily white suburbs act sedity, making decisions from the snob committee. 700 billion a year spent on war. Can somebody tell me what the hell they fighting for? Cause the government's wrong. The government's wrong. The government's wrong. Whoa, 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 whoa. The government's wrong. The government's wrong. The government's wrong. Whoa, 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 whoa. Back in the day, they used to hang us from a tree, cutting the babies out of pregnant women's bellies, then we watch. Now they breaking in doors, shooting 93-year-old ladies in a drug raid that was botched. How can you say that you feared for your life? Shooting a black kid in the back at the train track, taking his life. You know it wasn't right, but the BART officer must have been smoking crack. Sean Bell was about to get married, had 50 bullets aimed at him, now he's buried. New York cops just wouldn't stop, tried to get metal so they could go to the top. Dred Scott had a plot that they didn't have to respect the neck of a black. Now that's just how they act. We're living in a police state. We need our freedom and we just can't wait. If we don't get no justice, then you don't get no peace. Let's take it to the streets till they cease. The government's wrong. The government's wrong. The government's wrong. Whoa, 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 whoa. The government's wrong. The government's wrong. The government's wrong. Whoa, 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 whoa. We got spies trying to infiltrate the Middle East, taking control of the oil and their properties. Whatever happened to sovereignty? The right to eradicate poverty. But yo, when it comes to you and me, this government breaks up our unity. Gaddafi tried to build United States of Africa, but the US and NATO wasn't having it, bruh. So they funded revolution, overthrowing the man and all the independent leaders and even the Taliban. Manipulate the markets to control the world, launching signals from the heart to make disaster unfurl, causing suffering and pain to the 99%. That's why the Occupy movement be sleeping in tents. Police overkill, over-deploy with their forces, mace in your face, riding motorcycles and horses. If they could do it to their own at the orders of the chief, what the hell you think they do to us just for our belief? The government's wrong. The government's wrong. The government's wrong. Whoa, 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 whoa. The government's wrong. The government's wrong. The government's wrong. Whoa, 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 whoa. Yeah, and what about Hurricane Katrina? Some people say they blame it on El Niño. We know they blew the levees, leaving them stranded, killing so many people, I just can't understand it. And last but not least, they put Troy Davis to death. He maintained his innocence until his very last breath. If 7 witnesses recanted, then how can justice claim to be blind? People all over the world will now have Georgia on their mind, cause the government's wrong. The government's wrong. The government's wrong. Whoa, 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 whoa. The government's wrong. The government's wrong. The government's wrong. Whoa, 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 whoa. The government's wrong. The government's wrong. The government's wrong. Whoa, 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 whoa. The government's wrong. The government's wrong. The government's wrong. Whoa, 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 whoa. The government's wrong.